Morning all, how are you doing? It's Friday morning. I've been in the office all morning. Yesterday was pretty wet, as you can see from that pond. That's like that's the lowest part of that field, and as a result it stands water when it gets wet, so it's a fair indication we had a lot of rain yesterday. So yeah, this morning I've been in office doing a load of sorting files out for the laser cutters and sending them, which is pretty time consuming and frustrating, but it seems to just take forever to do it, but it's just one of them jobs, you've got to get on with it. So got that done. Just on my way down to the workshop, we've got a few jobs to sort out, stuff that's come back from the galvanisers. There's the calf prams to collect from the powder coaters. Yeah, plenty to get on with. So yeah, we'll get that sorted, and Nigel's coming today, so we'll have a bit of crack with him. It's always good fun. These are frames for straw feeders for calves, so we're just on sorting them out, and there's some blue drums to bolt onto them and then cut the side out of them. So we'll get them put together and then show you what they look like when they're put together. Morning all, it's Saturday morning. I've just been swimming with Zoe, took her to her swimming lesson, and we're just going to go and deliver these. These are what I showed you yesterday. We've got the blue drums attached to them now. There's 6 there. There was 11 to do in total, but we're just waiting on the drums. So these clamp onto a gate. So the gate is in here, and they're adjustable height, which means that for the calves, you put straw in there to feed to calves, and as the calves grow, you can lift them up. So we'll go and get these dropped off at Washfold. These are for Calf Prams, so we'll get these dropped off, and then yeah, just wait on some more drums to be ready to finish the other 5. Just thought I'd share this with you. I bought a drone a few years ago, and I'd got pretty handy with it and done quite well with it, getting used to how to fly them. Anyway, I had a bit of a disaster with it the other week. I was doing some filming on the lane up to Mum and Dad's of the pickup with a load of pumpkins on, and I'd finished filming, and I was flying it back to where I was in the pickup, and I flew it into a tree, and it basically nosedived straight into the tarmac and smashed the front end in, smashed the camera off its gimbal, and yeah, a bit of a mess. So it's been to the drone doctor, which is an outfit down south that repair them, and so yeah, it should be back to normal if I can get into it one-handed. Yeah, that's where it went to, the drone doctor. In fairness, they did a hell of a job. So yeah, look at it now. Get in, like new. It comes like they warranted it for 12 months as well, so that's pretty awesome. Annoyingly, I hadn't crashed it, but it had a crack in the top here, like a hairline crack. I don't know how that happened because I didn't crash it, but it yeah, certainly looks smart now. So hopefully we won't do that again. It's the downside of trying to fly it when you're on your own. It can be a bit of a challenge. So it basically smashed the camera off. That camera was hanging off, and so yeah, so I had a complete new. I don't know if it's the same camera, but it's had a new gimbal and everything that camera's mounted to, and 2 new motors on the back end as well. So yeah, hopefully we'll get it back in the air and get flying. Interestingly, Lindsay wasn't sure about when I bought it whether it was a good use of money, and I sort of see where she's coming from, but she has since acknowledged that actually the footage that you can get with it is pretty impressive. It did take me a bit to be able to get decent footage out of it, and annoyingly that was because I wasn't downloading it in the most effective way. So anyway, yeah, we're sorted now, so that's a good do. Back to flying my drone. I've just been up to Labourn, dropped the girls off at school, and I went to a local stonemason to look at some industrial loader tyres. We've been asked to look at making some scrapers for slurry out of industrial loader tyres, so I went to look at them to see if they were any good, and I'm just on my way to a farm to drop off some laser cut steel parts. I'll just show you them. These are for digger, so they're basic headstock parts for a digger. See if I can get them to look at this. So those are the headstock plates, and then those are round bushes, so they've got a hole in the middle, so these go on here and here, and then you put a pin through to attach like a bucket or a attachment for a digger, for an excavator. In fairness, the lad who it's for was actually just digging along the road. I went past him just as I was on my way here. So yeah, getting plenty going on this week, a bit more lacked line work. Unfortunately, James Rickard didn't manage to get to the weeder customers and transplanter customers last week because of the weather. So hopefully he'll get that done this week and we'll get to see what they have to say. It's a pretty grim day here really. We had a first decent frost this morning, it was pretty fresh. So yeah, winter's here, and but I think we worked out yesterday, we're only 5 weeks till Christmas, so yeah. And before Christmas we've got quite a bit to get through. We've also got Lammer second week of January, so need to get ready for that. I don't want to end up in the same situation as I was earlier this year when Lammer was in May because of coronavirus and all that lot, and so we had 5 months longer to get ready for it because it had been delayed from January to May, and I still wasn't ready, and it was a mad panic to get sorted. So I definitely don't want to be in that situation again. So that's one set. So there's 2 of them sets per calf pram. This is what makes the handle rotate. To make that out of any other way other than 3D printed on the volume we're doing, it would cost a lot of money. That's recessed, so the bolt sits flush, and that's what it looks like before we knock out the support material. So that support material there is printed to support what's above it here. So it's printed on the 3D printer like that, and that's just a thin, that's what they look like when they come out. Just a sort of a filler really. It's quite difficult to do one-handed, but if try and do it, see how that's just snapped out, and then if we no, it should come out of there now. It would be easier if I wasn't trying to hold the camera at the same time. So that's it there. So that's basically the support material, and that's the recess. So that's one of the reasons why 3D printing is so good. Because in fairness, out of that whole part, 2 of them and the skirt around the outside was the only waste. So I'm just sorting out calf prams. That's a stack of calf prams we're sorting out, then on to the last one. And these are the 3D printed parts. The bolts go into there, and then the heads push in, so they end up when they go in flush, and then that goes into there. So that then creates a joint, a hinge joint, and then as you can see on this one, it then goes through there, and that's created a hinge for us, and the nuts go on the top. This is the reason these heads are flush, is because this is the bottom, so this sits on the floor, so if the heads were sticking out they'd be in contact with the ground. that's the end of this video. Thanks very much for watching. If you've made it all the way to the end, please consider subscribing and like, and if you put a comment down, we'll have a chat with you. We've got quite a bit going on next week. I know I've been talking about Lactaline, but I haven't really explained what it does. And I've done a bit more with the compact front boxes, so we'll chat a bit more about them. And then there's plenty of other stuff going on as well, just to keep us out of mischief. So yeah, take care.